To get started on this week's project, download the Poster Design Project PDF and have a look at the project details. The first thing you'll notice at this is that this is going to be a two-part, two-week project. We're going to spend the first part of this assignment simply going over a variety of ideas and also making sure you understand the needs of your client. You're going to be designing a set of posters for an upcoming event, and in this case it's going to be a band concert. What I want you to do is to research the needs of your client and also formulate an idea of how you can use all of the elements that I give you as well as the different techniques that we're covering this week. To go over some of the details, you're going to be creating two different posters, and the client is going to give you a set of images, logos, textures, and information that they want to see incorporated into this design. There's going to be a name of the group that needs to be the largest portion of your design. And we're talking about different ways of adding texture to the background and other elements of your poster, so I want to see that included, as well as filtering at least one of the photos that I give you. And that's one of the techniques that we'll cover this week too. The posters also need to have a clear and consistent color theme for both of their designs. In other words, if you're designing two posters, both of them need to look like they go together, and the best, quickest way to do that is to use the same color scheme. Each of the posters that you create is going to be 20 inches by 30 inches, and so that's the size dimension that we want to be able to work in. Now, for this first week, you're going to research the needs of your client, and this is the person who's hiring you to create these poster designs. So we're going to read together their email and get an understanding of what they do and what they're looking for, and also some other things you can research to give yourself a good idea of how to start your design. All I'm looking for this week is just your rough ideas for 3 to 4 posters. Now keep in mind, they're only looking for 2, but I want to see what your concepts you can come up with, so give me a variety of different ways you could lay this out. Now, these do not need to be finished at all. As a matter of fact, I want you to just start them and give me an idea of the direction you would go. Then turn it in and I'll give you feedback and a critique on your ideas, and I'm going to pick 2 of my favorite ones that I want you to finish. So at the end of this, you're only going to submit one JPEG or PDF of each of your concepts. And again, give me 3 or 4 different ideas, 3 or 4 concepts. Next week is when I want you to focus on finishing your design and the layout that I talk about. And also making sure everything is included that's important to it. And next week is when you'll turn in your last 2 parts of the project. So let's have a look at the resources for this project that I give you. You can download everything in the Project Resources folder for the Jazz poster. The first thing that I would have a look at is the email from your client. Now, of course, this isn't a real email, but it does give you all of the necessary information. So let's go through this to make sure you get an understanding of what your client is looking for. He's saying, "Hi, my name is Brett Harper. I'm the lead vocalist," so that's the main singer, for a jazz ensemble called Choctaw Jazz. So right off the bat, Choctaw Jazz is the main name of your group and their tour, and so this is what needs to be the largest portion of your poster to really stand out. They're looking to get some gig posters designed for their upcoming spring tour, and they're wondering if you can help them out. And he's attached some information about the band and its show dates. So they're going to give you some logos, pictures, and other things that you can use in your design. They're a new jazz band that recently signed a 2-year deal with Palpitar Music. So if you've never heard jazz music before, that's the first thing that you could research. What kind of music is this? What kind of feel does it give off? Is it fast? Is it classical? Is it slow? Is it happy, sad? All of that has a certain feel to a certain demographic. Palpitar Music is the company that they're working for, so it's very important that their logo be incorporated into the design of your poster as well. To celebrate their recent success, they want some special posters done, and they want to have two different designs, one to promote their tour and the other to tell people about the showcase, show dates, and the locations. So those are the two posters that you're going to make. They're a traditional jazz ensemble. So what kind of jazz? Traditional jazz. But they like to think of themselves as having a rock and roll spirit. So that's another thing you can research. What are some posters or album covers or websites for different rock and roll bands or even shows? A lot of their sets, their music, is done by or reimagined by Metallica, the Rolling Stones, and the Eagles. So there are 3 different bands that you can research to get an idea of how their style can influence the style of Choctaw Jazz. And they want their name of their band tour to have a fun and jazzy feel to its design. So as far as the look and feel, this gives us a lot of information about these posters. They don't want it to be classical. They don't want it to be childish or too kid-like. They want something fun and jazzy that appeals to rock and roll, and it also appeals to traditional jazz. The first poster needs to be big and bold. They like the sax and trumpets as their band's main instruments, so they want to see those featured prominent in the designs. His friend says 20 by 30 is a good size for posters, and so they want that size. And they want to sell these posters at each of their concerts. They also want the band members on it as well, but they don't really have any ideas in mind, so they're going to keep it up to you. Moving down, these are the tour dates that can be incorporated somewhere on at least one of the posters. So you don't have to put it on both posters, but one of the posters needs to have or include the tour dates for your band that's playing. The posters need to feature their website and their phone number somewhere on there as well too. So if they're buying tickets or they want to find more information, here's 2 different places that they can find those. And of course, they want both of those to look well like they belong together. So they want to have the important logos, they want to incorporate the photographs, obviously the name, and even colors can go along with this. So right off the bat, this gives us a lot to research, and we need to figure out what's most important. Obviously, the name Choctaw Jazz needs to be the #1 thing that I see on these posters. So that needs to be nice, big, and prominent. Some other things that can be large and prominent, but not too large, could be the photographs, either of the trumpet and the sax, or the band members. Other things that can be maybe secondary. So this is what I would call Mama Bear next to Papa Bear stuff. So this is a little bit smaller in hierarchy. Could be the tour dates. And smaller still could be the logos and the website and the phone number incorporated into there. So this will give you your starting point to do research. If you open up the folders, I'm giving you some logos. So here is a logo for Palpitar Music, for the Litz Academy, and also for Ticketmaster, where people can purchase their tickets. Now, these are important to be on there, but they're not so important that they have to be very big. So I would keep these relatively small and almost towards the bottom or towards the edges of your design, depending on how you got laid out. They're also giving you photographs of different instruments that they play. So here's electric guitar, here's the jazz saxophone and the trumpet, and also here's pictures of the band members that you can use. Now, some of these photographs are better than others. Some of these feature different color schemes. Some of them don't even have color at all to them. So I'll leave it up to you which photographs you want to use. Don't think that you have to use all of them. You can just pick and choose a few of them or some of them or just maybe one or two of them. The final thing I'm giving to you are a variety of just different textures that you could use within your design. Don't think you have to use all of these or even some of them. You can find your own. And we'll talk about the use of textures in your design in this week's set of techniques that I would like to see within your posters. So that's going to be the starting point. This week, I want to see your ideas, just your rough ideas for 3 or 4 poster designs. You can work these up in Photoshop, Illustrator, or InDesign. You can even send me some simple thumbnail sketches, though I would like to get an understanding. And when you submit this, you could also do a text explanation of what you would like to do. So you can type that up in a Word document and include it with your JPEGs along with that, if that helps out too. Next week, that's when you're going to focus on the last 2 of your designs and making everything look good and polished to submit for your final critique on this particular project. All right, so best of luck. I would like to see what you do, but again, feel free to submit your work early so that I can give you feedback and you can revise your work as you continue to work along with it.